We're kicking ass now. Start.
Yeah, man.
All right. Hey, Brad, how you doing, man?
Doing very well.
So, hey, Brad. I forgot my question now.
Yeah.
Let's see how I want to do the intro. I'll just do that. I'll just say I'm with Brad Holt. And okay, I got it. All right. I'm with Brad Holt, a filmmaker here in Dallas, Texas. And Brad, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hi. How's it going?
Cool. Hey, man. Just on Facebook, we met there, and of course in my group, the International Filmmakers Group. I've been impressed with you that a young man like you is already working with the Red and is doing really well for yourself. So I just wanted to have a good interview with you, and I think you'll be an inspiration to the younger filmmakers out there or people that want to get into the business, things like that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So first, I just want to ask, where did you learn about film? What did you study? What did you study?
I went to school at the University of North Texas. I majored in radio, TV, and film there, with an emphasis on film. It's a really great program. It's a really good place to learn a lot of the technical aspects, as well as like film theory and everything.
Okay.
So like we learn how to use the gear and we learn how to work as a crew. So they put students together all through the program, creating projects together. So you learn how to work because film is a group activity. It's never really just like one person doing everything alone.
Right.
And so you learn how to you learn the different aspects of different positions, and you learn how to work with people to create one thing cohesively.
Sure. And so just tell us the different aspects of production that you study. I mean, directing, writing, editing, the whole thing, or?
Yeah, I mean it's a 4-year degree, and so throughout the process, I'll wait for that car to go by.
Sure, man.
It's a 4-year degree, so you go throughout the whole process. You start with simple intros to writing and just like basics of all the you do TV production, you do film production with real film, and you do radio as well, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so we sort of learn the basics of all of those things, and then as we go through the program, we sort of get more and more focused, and the things we learn get more and more advanced.
I see. And so you studied directing as well. What about producing? Did you produce, kind of put the whole thing together, or make it run?
Well, for producing, a lot of the earlier projects we have to produce on our own, but they're a lot smaller. There is a class on producing that I didn't take because I'm not interested in producing at all.
Yeah.
Although I do recommend learning about producing because you will have to learn that one way or another.
Sure.
Whether it's in a class or in the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
And so, but I took a directing class. There's editing classes, and so you take different classes to learn all these different aspects. And then at the end of the degree, we took there's an advanced film class where everybody has a designated position. So you have a producer and a director and an editor, and we work as a whole class shooting on very serious cameras. Like when I was there, we shot on Super 16. And now I think they've actually got 2 Red cameras that they're working on. So everybody gets to learn how to use a Red camera, and it's just like this really big production throughout the entire semester. You make one film that you're
right.
Let me
Big
start
project.
over. Yeah, I need to work on that again. I'm just gonna start that.
Try not to cut. Just keep going, because I'll have to make too much editing. So just roll with it, man.
Okay.
Yeah, if you mess up, just keep going.
Okay.
And if it's really bad, I'll cut it out. But if I do that, I'll keep on checking it.
It's pretty bad.
So let me ask you. We'll finish that thought. So
let's see. So advanced film. Advanced film is like the class. It's like the capstone class of that degree at University of North Texas.
Yeah.
And it's basically like everybody in the class has designated positions. There's like a certain number of films that are made. Like we made 5 films during that semester.
Oh wow, that's great.
And so everything we shot was on Super 16, the actual film. So we had to learn how to really shoot on film. But now they also have a couple of Red cameras that they're using. So, but it's like every weekend a new film gets shot. And so you have a director and a producer.
And you're part of the crew.
And everybody in the class, it's just the class that does it. I mean, the instructor isn't even really there. Sometimes they'll come and just check on things during production, but for the most part, it's just the class, and everybody just has to work together.
Well, let me ask you this. There's a lot of filmmakers watching this. So they're directors, okay? So let's talk about what you learn as a director. What exactly did they teach you?
For directing, I mean, you pretty much, they teach you how to do pre-production, which is huge, and learning how to work with all your key crew members but ahead of time. And how, I mean, I think the thing they focused on the most was working with actors on set and being able to talk to them appropriately and being able to, like, between talking to them and talking to the rest of crew and be efficient.
What did they say about how to talk to crew and actors? What was the difference?
Well, I mean, when you're talking to actors, you're trying to get a specific performance out of them.
Sure.
And so there's a lot of different methods, you know, depending on how you are as a person. But like you know, you have to be able to talk to an actor a certain way to be able to get the performance you need. Because, you know, a lot of directors will just say, you know, and then you pick up your glass and then you drink it, and it's just like you're just directing actions.
Sure.
But to be able to get the emotion out of what they're doing.
Right. That's what's most important.
Yeah. You have
the emotion, man. Isn't it all about the emotion and the story?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, and so being able to tell, to convey what you're trying to get, what you're trying to get them to do, versus just getting them to move a certain way is very important.
So what do you mean about talking to the crew? How are you taught to talk to the crew? What exactly do you mean?
Let me think. Because I really only took the one directing class, and I don't consider myself a director, so I don't know if I'm really like, if I should be speaking to that too much.
Okay, well, you consider yourself more of a cinematographer?
Yeah.
I see. Well, that's cool. So, you see in the background, everybody, there's a red he's got back there. He actually owns it. He works with it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But let me first talk about just some simple stuff. Not simple, but the beginning of your career. So you got out of school. How long have you been out of school?
I graduated in 2009.
2009. So what, 4 years now?
Mm-hmm.
That's great, man. So I think a lot of people are wondering, you know, they're trying to break into the business, if you want to call it that. I don't call it that. It's not that hard. At least in Dallas, it's not that hard because we're not a bunch of stuck-up people in Hollywood. You know? No, we're not a cronyism club. You can't get in our country club. And so Dallas is a pretty good place. Would you say? I mean.
Yeah. No, I think Dallas is great.
Yeah, it's more business-oriented, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot of commercial work here, and that's most of what I do is actually commercial work, and like corporate and stuff like that.
Let me ask you this: so, people just starting out, what was your first job, and how did you get it?
Let's see. My first job, my first gig was I started shooting. I've been freelancing since I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
Doing weddings. I mean, a lot of people get started. A lot of people get started doing that, and a lot of people do it for, you know. There's actually some really great wedding video that's out there now.
It's really good, I think, for training filmmakers to really be ready on the spot for action and follow it in a smooth or good manner.
Totally.
And know what's important.
Yeah.
Because I did too many freaking years. I hated it after a while. I like weddings, and so you always had to be ready for the moment, like the garter toss or bouquet toss or cutting of the cake,
right? Or
something like a cute kid dancing on the floor, whatever.
Yeah, but especially being a video guy at a wedding, because most of the time, most of the focus goes to the photographer, and a lot of times the photographers will end up running the whole show. And so, as a video person, you really have to pay attention and be able to catch what's going on, and like you have to really be in it and focus the whole time.
And sometimes those guys are jerks, and they just get up and they don't say, "Hey man, I'm going to shoot." They just go, "Boom!"
They jump in front of you.
I'm running the show.
Yeah.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, so doing weddings taught me a lot about, you know, not just the gear, because you most of the time are shooting in complete darkness, and so you have to learn how to adapt to that and be able to either find spots or bring lights and be able to light well enough to where it still looks good, but it's not, but it's mobile, right? But then you also have to learn about, you know, people and what people are doing and how people are feeling and being able to capture certain emotions and knowing when they're going to happen. So you learn you learn a lot about people, you learn a lot about gear, and you learn how to be really efficient.
It's really good for working with people, working with like people that are ready to get really mad because they're so nervous, you know what I'm saying? Because like the mothers and stuff, and it's just like, and the bride and everybody. Now the grooms are pretty cool because they're guys. No, I'm kidding, but I'm sort of kidding. But you know how it is. It's just an emotional thing, and so I think it is good for that. You have to work within a crowd too. You have to be really aware of what you're doing. It's like many times I would walk backwards in my shots. So I got real good at walking backwards and not falling over. I would just kind of slide my feet, you know, make sure I wasn't stepping, I was sliding, and you know what I'm saying? And so, but how about, let's go on to getting to use the red, but just give us a few steps along the way.
Sure.
And how you got there. What were some other jobs that you had and led up to that?
Okay. Well, I mean, getting better work really when it comes down to it, it's about, you know, knowing people. And so the better ability you have to talk to people, and because I'm actually really introverted. And
no, you're not.
No, I really am. And so, but like I found myself in lots of situations where I've sort of been forced to meet people.
Right.
And being on set and even shooting weddings, you meet tons of people, and all these different people have different lives and they need different things. And so even just shooting weddings all the time, like you get, most of the weddings that I shot were referrals from other weddings that I had shot.
Are you on one-on-one a little more extroverted or
one-on-one?
regular?
Way more, yeah. No.
I'm the same way, at least I used to be. I'm kind of good now with the other. So what you're saying is that working in a crew situation kind of helps bring you out of you and be more extroverted and learn how to work with people real well? Is that?
Well, yeah, working on a crew for sure, because everybody has to be communication's vital, so everybody has to be talking to each other, and like when you're working, it's like introversion is not an issue with that.
How did you overcome some of that being introverted? I mean, how did that? Was there some kind of one day that just kind of, where there was a key?
No, it's just. I mean, I'm always dealing with it. It's like a thing that I always have to deal with. But but I've gotten a lot better at it just because I've you meet more people and you get better practice at like talking to people, and so it's just like always a work in progress. But the reason, I mean, you meet all these different people, and it's really important to like retain relationships with as many people as you can, because you never know when somebody's going to need something.
Sure.
And so I mean, pretty much all the work that I do is based on, knowing someone who suddenly needs a video or whatever. So like, I started working with a design firm.
Right.
And they do a lot of, they mostly just do graphic design stuff, right?
Okay.
And so one of their big clients.
You're talking kind of print stuff or animated graphics, or what are you saying?
They do, it's mostly print, and then they also they'll do like email blasts, and there's some in like web design a little bit and stuff like that. So it's a pretty wide gamut of design work that they do. Yeah. And so some of their clients started asking them, well, hey, do you guys do video, or do you guys provide video? And so I happen to know some of the people there at that firm, and so they asked me, hey, could you do some video work or whatever. So
how did you know? Who was there? Someone you knew, a friend or something like that?
Well, at this design firm specifically, my girlfriend had just started working there.
I see.
And so, she's a big advocate for me sometimes.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing. The other way, maybe she shouldn't be the girlfriend.
Yeah, and so, luckily, I mean, by the time she was working there, I had already been doing similar work to what they needed. So I already had a decent amount of work for them to look at, because I mean.
Where did you develop your portfolio? How?
Well, a lot of it is just, I mean, it's sort of a mix. I do a lot of, my reel. I do a lot of it is student work. So going through university, it gives you a lot of work there because you just have projects.
Man, a lot of stuff.
And then also I try to do a lot of stuff for fun, because a lot of times I'll be, especially if I'm working a lot of gigs, I'll start getting tired of working for other people and just want to do stuff that's just for fun for me.
Sure.
And so I try to do as much for fun as possible. And even if it's just something that's just like zero budget, just take the camera out and just make something.
Just something cool.
Yeah, like shorts, or I do a lot of sort of like almost like skits or.
So do you want to be the cinematographer on my next short that I'm going to do? It's about 30 minutes long.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a psychological thriller horror movie.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And we can shoot on the red?
Yeah, we can shoot on the red. Do you know any special effects makeup people? Are you going to need that? Because I got some.
It's all creepy, kind of psychiatrist hospital stuff.
Really? But no blood or anything at a hospital?
Oh no, it's not a gore movie.
You said it's horror.
It's like mess with your mind kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's not the way you think. It's going to switch it.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah,
I don't want to know till we're shooting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you might need to know something.
No.
And so we're going to have, it's all going to basically take place in a sound stage.
Okay.
But we make it kind of creepy, like a Twilight Zone episode with lighting that maybe just like over one chair, it lights up and then something in the background. So we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay.
There is definitely a chair in this film. All right. Confirmed.
I think it will be.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, it's a spoiler. It's a spoiler. So yeah, and so what I want to do too with that, I'll just bring it up because with the website, with my company, Imagination Media, I want to make an emphasis on helping to guide filmmakers, whether young or old, on how to be financially successful. Because I think, and that's why that's the main reason why I'm talking to you. Because so many good filmmakers out there, talented, they're great, but they don't know how to make money. And that's the difference. And to me, so many people have a dream of being a filmmaker and then never fulfill it, or just a little bit, and then they have to quit and, go be an accountant or something. And I hate accountants. Wait, I like them. I just hate the profession. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, let's go back to you. So how did you? Was the design firm your big break? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. Right. Yeah. So I mean, I did my first gig for them, which was actually a nationally televised TV spot.
Yeah.
And it went really well. They really liked it. The client really liked it.
Great, man.
And so, as a result of that, I started doing a lot more work for them, for that firm.
Yeah.
And to the point where we decided that, like me and the owner of the firm decided that it would be actually more cost effective to, instead of renting the camera all the time, just buy one.
So they kind of helped you, or they said, okay, we'll give you enough money.
Yeah, no, so they basically...
Did they buy it, or did you buy it? Or,
they
mixed? What the heck? Was that me or you? Oh, that was you.
That was me? Oh.
Okay, I can't believe you did that. Wait, I think I did the same mistake. That's filmmaking error 101. We're learning how to make mistakes.
There's important news happening right now.
What, on Twitter or something?
No, it's like AP or something.
Okay. All right, so...
So I got to the point after that first gig, the client really liked it. And so we started working a lot more with them, and I started doing some other video work for them, and we got to the point where it was actually more cost effective to buy a red instead of renting it all the time. And so basically the way we worked it is they invested in it, I guess. They invested in me, and so they bought the rig for me. And so now the way it works is like as I shoot with it, I'm using that to pay them back. So I still charge, like whenever I shoot anything with the red, there's that rental is built into the cost. So so it's like I charge a certain amount for the red rental, and then I just give it to them until it's paid off.
You mind telling us how much the total package was?
The whole camera and accessories, everything I got was about right at $100,000.
Wow. I mean, to me, that's a great accomplishment for somebody your age. Really. It really is. So that's cool. I think you're very enterprising. I think that's great, man. So what was the shoot, the first one that you did that they really liked so much?
It was a commercial for Wingstop.
Oh, okay. That's a local chicken wings place for anybody international.
Oh, yeah. Local to the U.S. I guess they're kind of everywhere in the U.S. now. But yeah, so it was a commercial for Wingstop, and it was really loosey-goosey, fun. Yeah. It was a really good shoot, and they ended up liking it a lot, and so I've been able to do a few more for them.
What did they like about it? How did it stand out to them?
I think I never actually watched another one of their spots before shooting this one. It was just like they were trying sort of like a new thing, and so I mean, really, it's just like a party video. So it's like all these different. We shot in 3 different locations, and it's basically just people together having a good time eating wings.
I remember I was working on a shoot with another company. I won't say who it is, and they were doing Wingstop. You know, like the Troy Aikman thing, or
yeah, I've worked with them, I think.
Okay, did you work with Troy Aikman?
Yeah.
Okay, he's a American football quarterback, and very good one. Unlike maybe who they have now, whoever the backup is. I don't mean Romo. Okay, so what did they say to you? I mean, what was the kind of the break? What did they say? Just we love you. We want to use you more. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I shot it and edited it and sent it in.
Oh, you edited it too?
Yeah. I was the producer on that.
That is cool. Now, that's really an accomplishment.
Yeah, and
good one.
So like, but I mean, I just heard back from the guy at the firm, and he said that that they had really enjoyed it, and they were thinking about doing a few more, and so that's.
Did you have any moving shots?
Actually, most of it was handheld, a lot of it, and
with the red.
No, actually, that gig was with a 5D. We shot it on 5D.
Oh,
and we there was like a few slider shots and handheld. It was like
What's the slider? Explain to the people.
Slider's like sort of like it's basically a short dolly you can attach to a tripod. It's like this long little track, and you can slide back and forth.
Do you have 2 tripods or just a single one?
Just one. Just one and a small slider. Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. And isn't that amazing now how cheap this stuff is? You can make it look very cinematic.
Crazy, yeah.
Man, when I was coming up, everything, you have the huge cameras, you have to have a huge, Fisher dolly.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking like a $10,000 for one day or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so to me, I think, isn't this a great time of opportunity for filmmakers?
It's amazing, yeah. I mean, even now, because things like the Black Magic camera that's out now is just crazy cheap. I
want one of those.
Yeah,
the 4K one.
Yeah, no, relative to this, you can still shoot really high resolution, high quality images for not nearly as much money.
Well, a lot less, right? The body is 4,000 this July.
Yeah.
Okay, I just dated this thing. Okay. Now, but this is actually 2000 and I don't know, 22? No, that wouldn't be right. 2009.
What?
Our interview right now.
What are you talking about?
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with the time-space continuum.
When am I?
Yeah, good question. All right, so we'll go into the red a little bit later with a special segment on that. And so he's going to kind of show us the red, talk about every different part of it. I'll ask him some questions about that. So we'll get more technical at that point, right?
Sure.
Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, let's get to the business of film and video and how you're making your money. Now, you stated, of course, working for the design firm. Is that where you make all your money? That's your one client?
No. I work for a lot of different people, and I do just weird pickup things here and there all the time still too. I've actually been trying
freelance stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been trying to do a lot more Kickstarter videos. Actually, they're a lot of fun. And
for yourself or
no, for other people. So
how do you get in that work? Because I saw that one you did for Manly Man. What was it?
Manly Marks. Yeah.
Yes, that was funny.
It was great.
Did you write it?
We wrote it together. Yeah,
that
was
just funny.
Yeah.
Well done.
And he got funded, and he got super funded. He made more than he was trying to get.
How much was he asking for?
He was asking for $14,000, and I think he made around 20.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and so I really liked doing that because it's just the structure of the video is really flexible. You can have a lot of fun with it because it's basically with that, it's like an internet video. So the more entertaining it is, the better off you'll be in the most.
From a marketing perspective, what were you guys thinking? Because to me, you can make a movie, you can make a Kickstarter video, but a ton of people are doing it. And I saw one on, I think it was Indiegogo, which is another similar crowdfunding site. And so these guys, they had a great little piece that they did, a 5-minute they wanted to make into, 30 minutes or something, and they got the red and everything for the whatever. They met their goal. But the best thing they said was, please help us, and this guy, the actor, will sign a photograph, and so to me, that's definitely not a good way of marketing. So how did you construct it and think about how do I make something that will bring money in? Period. The first priority.
Well, luckily for me, by the time he approached me, Brandon, I know there's a siren.
Was
happening.
That a bird or is that
I think it was a bird. At first, I thought somebody had some bad brakes, but yeah, I think it's a bird.
Okay, so how do you create it to make money for him and be so successful?
Right. Well, luckily for me, by the time Brandon, the guy in the video, approached me,
yeah.
He had already sort of planned out a lot of
his...
That
wasn't you?
No.
I thought it was you.
We both have beards. That's all.
Your beard and you're white. You're two white guys.
Beards. His is much fuller than mine.
I really thought it was you, but on your Facebook thing, it's kind of in a distance, so I can't really see.
Right.
So go ahead. So hey, there she is. All right, we're going to finish this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So by the time he approached me, he already had a lot of his rewards planned out. And so we met a couple of times to sort of talk about the tone that he wanted to have in the video. And so, just because of the product that he was creating, it's sort of like a tongue-in-cheek, super manly thing. And so,
what was the name of the project?
Manly Marks, the Book of Manly Marks.
Well, how to be manly, something like that.
That's what it's called. It's called the Book of Manly Marks, but
I don't know what Manly Marks.
Manly Marks, because he's also a designer.
Oh, okay.
And so basically the book is a series of illustrations that he hand carved and printed, and then short messages that are things that are manly. So, or like it's like instructions to become a man.
How
so
to
it'll
be
be
really
like,
manly.
yeah. So like grow a beard, look a man in the eyes, or something like that. Just like little tiny snippets.
It was funny. It was a good concept.
Yeah, and so we met a couple times to talk about sort of what kind of tone we wanted to have and how we sort of wanted to approach the project. But he already had most of the rewards and stuff planned out. So really the goal for me was just to make sure that the video sort of matched what he wanted in terms of tone, but also was entertaining to the point where it would be shared. Because the key to win it to completing a Kickstarter successfully, to funding a Kickstarter, is to get your video really shared, like get the project shared as much as possible.
You mean shared throughout social media?
Yeah.
They can click on the Kickstarter and share it right from the site?
Sure, but for his, he ahead of time looked up a whole bunch of like web blogs, like design blogs, stuff like that, things that would be sort of pertinent to what he was doing. And so by the time we shot the video...
Why did you look that up just as a model to follow?
No, because he wants... to market. So basically by the time we shot the video, he sort of created a mini press release that would lead to the Kickstarter page plus the video in hopes of getting these other blogs to post about his project.
How did he know where to find all these blogs that would...
He's a designer, so I don't know. It's
That's
like
a marketing thing,
it's,
though.
Yeah, I mean, but designers follow design blogs, right? Because that's what their industry is. So he already followed a bunch of these things, and so but there are also websites, like Uncrate, which is sort of like it's just Uncrate, which is like
.com or something.
Uncrate.com.
How do you spell it?
UNCRATE.
.com. Okay.
.com. And so they basically, it's like a blog, but it just posts interesting products that men would be theoretically interested in. So it's like awesome cars and grills and the new James Bond movie, like things like that. And so he shared it with them, and I can't remember if they posted it or not, but like websites like that that are so like design blogs, but also sort of manly blogs. So he shared his project with all these different sites in hopes that they would share it.
That's great, and that's what the purpose of my internet company, a site, is about. Is exactly what you're talking about. Finding your audience.
Right.
Engagement with your audience, the one beforehand, so they'll buy your product, your movie or your book, once it hits the market.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that's
so
great.
And I think that's the real reason that he was successful. I mean, we made a great video, and his project itself was actually really interesting. But the fact that he was able to share it with an appropriate audience that was interested in it is the reason he was able to get funded, I think.
I saw another young man's Kickstarter campaign. It was great, but now that I think about it, it wasn't completely clear. I guess overall it was a robot movie thing, but he didn't really talk about the concept entirely as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And watching in the video that you made for that guy, I knew it was a book, right? And so I thought it was funny. I didn't want it, but actually,
you wanted it.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, yeah, you sound like a girl. You wanted it. Wait. No.
What are you talking about?
So, but anyway, yeah, I thought that was a cool idea,
Mm-hmm.
And so I was interested in it, and but yeah, I knew exactly what it was.
Sure.
That movie that kid has, it's a good plot. But it's just like, what am I supporting? What would I give you money for? What is the end result? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I've noticed that in a lot of other Kickstarter videos, and because there's a video and usually a write-up too, but there usually is a lack of clarity in terms of what you're actually funding. And so, it's really important if for anybody who wants to be interested in doing Kickstarter videos,
or Indiegogo,
or anything like that. It's important to clarify who is talking, because Brandon is the guy who's doing the work, and he is in the video talking, so instead of, we want to be sure that this is who he is, and get an idea of his sort of personality and what kind of a person he is, but also what the project is and why he needs your help, and also specifically what people are going to get out of it for funding it, with the rewards and everything.
Well, that's great. So you were, I kind of went a little bit off on the Kickstarter. So do you remember where you were going before I
was just talking about how I work with a lot of various people. That's one thing that I'm interested in doing more of now. But
working or networking with them to be able to work with them, or
doing videos for for video, for Kickstarter, and also doing it for, I mean, like freelance things.
Are
like
you making money from the Kickstarter videos?
Yeah, yeah. I have like I
great.
sort of created. I mean, maybe I should
A
share
little
that.
business?
Maybe I
Yeah,
should. Yeah,
please,
maybe I should share that. So the way we did it, and this is sort of me just sort of figuring it out, like how I would want to do it.
Yeah.
But essentially, before we shot the video, we met several times and sort of worked up how much the cost would be to shoot it. Like if he wasn't just like a friend of mine, like how much it would cost to do the production.
Yeah.
And so what we did was we worked the cost of production into what he was asking for on Kickstarter. And so,
okay.
But
okay.
right,
so into the cost. Okay.
Right, but also I make it where if he doesn't get funded, I don't get paid.
Ooh.
So it's scary for him because he's asking for more money than he actually needs without the video.
Right.
But it's scary for me because I don't get paid unless it gets funded.
But
so
that's good.
Right, so it's
Motivates
important.
you.
It's motivation for both of us. So it's like I have to make a good video to be able
That's
to.
great. That's smart.
Yeah, and it's cool because he got and for the super funding, so he got funded, and so I get paid. But we also worked it out where every extra dollar he made on top of what he asked for, 15 cents of it would go to me.
Oh, 15% commission or 15%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so.
Good thinking.
Yeah, and so I mean, so because the way I figure he's making money more than he needs at that point, so he's just like getting icing on the cake, and so we're both sort of past the goal. Yeah.
15% after you pass the goal.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's sort of how we worked it, and it worked really well for both of us because I mean he still made more than he needed, so he was able to do a lot of extra stuff. But I also got sort of an added benefit.
I've seen some campaigns where they're asking for $50,000, they're making $77,000.
Yeah.
So how does that work? I'm still doing research on it myself. Are these essentially donations?
Yes.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah, the whole idea is you have a project and you can't afford to do it and you don't have another way of getting the funds.
Right.
And so you're sort of asking for crowdfunding. And so the only reason people are really going to fund it, other than just being, the goodness of their hearts wanting to support your project, is, you come up with a series of rewards. So like for his project, he's making a book, so he's doing the book,
free copy of it or something?
A free copy of the book, and then also he's doing correspondence cards. And it's basically like a greeting card, but not a greeting card. It's just like a card that has a manly message and an illustration on it. But it's all letterpress.
Maybe a signed autographed copy or something?
I don't think he's signed. Nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, but it'd be cool.
Okay.
I said, this is the author, right?
Yeah. But actually, he had two versions of the book. So there's like the main version of the book, but then for an added, for an additional cost, he does like a special edition where like it's like a wax canvas cover, and then like the inner liner is like antique maps. So it's like even more just like ridiculous, but that much cooler.
I wanted to explain to the audience, and I don't know if Kickstarter or Indiegogo works internationally or not. I haven't, because sometimes there's restrictions and regulation. Like I know that Netflix, you can't get that overseas from us, but I don't know. I have to find out. But
I'm not even sure about that.
I hope it is, because I think that independent filmmakers all over the world need this.
Yeah,
and I was actually down at South by Southwest Film Festival, and the founder of Kickstarter, one of the founders, was there.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it was really cool, and they make their money by whatever you raise. If it's successful, they get a commission themselves. Like, I don't know the percentage, but fairly low.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is a great way to make money. And somebody said, well, what about getting equity in the film, like you get paid back for your investment? And he said, well, we don't want to do that model. It's like, why would he? He gets a percentage, and then they get to have all the money and just all the rights. They don't have to worry about paying people back. Yeah. And to me, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to make money, is especially if you don't have any other means, because now it's sort of getting popular for people who are celebrities to go on there and try to get crowdfunding.
Yeah, I heard Zach
Braff is doing a movie.
He's like doing one, and somebody says, "Well, is it okay if celebrities do this?"
Yeah.
What's the?
I think it's okay. It's just kind of weird because theoretically he should be able to afford the movie, or he knows people, he knows money people, he could get in the room with money people to get a thing funded, and so it seems sort of strange that somebody who already has like done a Hollywood film, or like, I guess Garden State was a Hollywood film, sort of independent.
Was it independent?
But, yeah, it was independent, but it was like it was very well received.
What kind of what kind of campaigns are they? Is like he doing What does he need money for? Is he?
Well, he's just trying to fund the whole project, so he's doing another film.
How much is he asking for that?
I think $2 million. I think he made $2 million. He had a $2 million budget on Garden State, and so he's doing another $2 million.
Yeah, but to me, the market, that's what it is. It's like if you get the money, great. If you don't, great. And so he's going to have a little extra power because he's a celebrity. But I think a lot of people might say, I'm an independent filmmaker. Why do I need to give that rich guy any money? Right?
That's true. And I mean,
he's a nice guy,
I imagine he probably has other ways to get funded. He's just sort of like, you know what? We should just try it. It might be fun. I mean, if I were him, you know, if I were in his position, but I kind of just love Kickstarter as I am anyway. And so I'd be like, you know, let's see if they'll fund me. You know, it's worth a shot. We'll do a fun video.
Right.
And so I don't really like, I'm not hating on him or anything for doing it like some people are, but it seems sort of strange, but I mean, why not try, right?
Yeah, and to
another
me,
way to
it's
get
just like, why the controversy? Why people sometimes get upset about nothing. To me, it's okay, if it works, then do it. And if people want to give money, then let them. But I think a lot of us would say, why would I give that guy money? You know?
Totally, and I mean, I'm not going to give him money, but
I'm not. I mean, he's a nice guy, it seems,
but I still hope he gets funded. I think he'd make a very interesting film.
But I'd like to raise $2 million for my feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So I'm going to put that. That's going to be my goal. They won't know me from Adam, but I'm going to raise $2 million. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have Zach Braff in my Kickstarter video.
Well, give me his number.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
And he's going to be...
Hey, I mean, if you can get star power in your video, then you pretty much are good to go.
This is a great movie. You should get it. Okay, whatever. All right, so, Brad, this has been really cool. How about we move to the red and show it off to the audience?
Okay, sure.
All right, cool.